was just going to say, you're talking about financial freedom. I mean, I think, the way that you're handling your finances right now, whether you're financially free or not free, however your relationship is with money right now, whether you think that money is going to solve the problem, money solves a lot of problems. It does, totally. Do I think that it is going to be better to be financially free if you're having difficulties with money, whatever your finances are right now? No, not at all. Like, I think it's almost going to accentuate the issues even more. So I think that's more like what we talk about on the Courage and Wealth Show, and what we talk about at CROFT and Frost so much is building courage and creating wealth, and utilizing these three uniques will be something that you'll be able to apply immediately today, whether you have that rental home that you've been trying to purchase, or that passive income stream that you've been trying to achieve, or that new business that you've been trying to start, or if you are working for somebody else right now, you've got the ability to be able to apply these three uniques to your life and immediately see results as time goes by, and you continue to practice them over and over and over and over again every single day. Then you will be able to solve those issues of being present. For me, waiting on results, right? Like, I'm waiting right now. It's one of my biggest problems is waiting. So I'm figuring out how to wait. I'm figuring out how to have patience. I'm figuring out that maybe I need to not focus on what I'm waiting on so much and focus on something else, whatever that might be for you. And I think that's what I really enjoy about this show. I really enjoy about, we call it a show, it's webinar, whatever you want to call it. What are we calling it, Rocky?
It's a show, baby.
It's a show. Okay. So we're calling it a show. So what I love about this show is it allows us to be able to connect directly with a group of people. We got 14 people on here right now, and connect with a group of people so that we can work more one-on-one with them on a Saturday morning in a comfortable spot, when I'm not sitting there waiting for the results that I was wanting yesterday or Thursday or Wednesday. So I guess selfishly, I'm excited for everybody to be here and to be a part of it. And look, we don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers, but I've got a heck of a lot of experience in dealing with a significant amount of problems, and in experience with those problems that just don't seem possible to overcome. It just, me 3 years ago would have said, there is no way you would be able to handle what you're handling right now. And so I think a lot of our ability to be able to solve problems comes from how we respond to those issues, because they're going to continue to happen. I mean, that's life. So.
Yep. Love that. Love that. So let's jump in here. We see we're going to kind of approach these, and we're going to look at them kind of holistically, and then we'll begin to break them down as we go through here. We'll go one by one. That's the beauty of you being committed and showing up on a Saturday morning, that we get this time together. So we have one on here that says proving my presence. We'll come back. We'll look at that one. Complete communication between my entire team. Love that one. And then me and stroke. And Teresa, I'm pretty sure I remember you from this week. And I think you're referring to the fact that you had a stroke and what that's done now, because I remember talking to you earlier this week. And so appreciate you being here with us this morning. Love your commitment to continue to grow. So let's talk about these three things we have that we want to go through this morning on looking at each thing, looking at each problem. And I also think, honestly, looking at each problem, looking at each goal. And I'm on this, it just kind of hit me this morning. So I'm just going to roll with it. And I think maybe there's something there to our ability to remind ourselves that how we approach a problem is how we approach a goal, and how we approach a goal is how we approach a problem, because our ability to get through those things are probably much more similar than we think. And so the first one this morning that I really want to look at, or I want us to talk about as we look through the things you have listed there. And then listen, as we're talking, if you feel a little bit of bravery, you feel a little bit of courage, you build a little bit of courage, and you want to create a little bit of wealth, throw that problem, or for that matter, hey, let's roll with it, throw that goal into the chat box. We cannot have a dialogue together unless you are sharing with us where you're at, what you're looking for, and what it is that you need. So I would love for you to be able to do that with us this morning. So make sure if anything pops in your head, throw it down there, because it just gives us more things to dialogue about. The first thing this morning I want us to look at is taking action through daily discipline. Whether it's a goal or whether it's a problem, I believe we have to begin by saying we're going to take action through daily discipline. Now, where many of us get caught up is that we tend to forget, or we tend to not know, what is the action I need to be taking right? We convince ourselves that there's so many things, there's so many pieces, there's so many opportunities. I just don't know what to do. Am I supposed to drink water first? Am I supposed to have electrolytes first? Am I supposed to get up first in the morning? Am I supposed to not put my phone? Am I supposed to get my phone, listen to a podcast? You're not supposed to listen to anything, work out or not work out? Am I supposed to talk to somebody or not talk to somebody? Am I supposed to write? And with a pen and a paper, it's not 1843, but I like technology. The amount of things I love. There's a meme that I've seen 100 times, and it says, I finally mastered my morning routine. I get up at 4 a.m. and I'm done with my morning routine at 3 p.m. and I've got 2 good hours of work every day. Like the amount of things that we're supposed to have that we hear everywhere. That's like, this is what you got to do to be successful. I don't even know. I haven't had any even coffee yet today. And now I'm supposed to have 68 things off my list I'm supposed to do, right? But there's so many pieces that I think with whether it's problems or whether it's goals, we have to be able to, and I'm going to let you kind of take the direction of what makes sense in your brain. We either have to back up for a second and go, hold on. We're talking about taking daily action, right? We're talking about taking action through daily discipline, which means we got to get really, really narrow. Don't give me 50 things you got to do in the morning to be successful, because you ain't even doing one. So you ain't going to do 50. So what is one action that we can take through daily discipline that we believe will drive us toward our goal, will drive us towards solving that problem, will drive us toward you? Listen, I think Rabia is RS. I think that's what she said in the beginning. Glad you're here, Rabia. She had proving my presence. I can tell you one action you can take through daily discipline is to stop using the word proving. Delete that word from your vocabulary. If you spend your life trying to convince others of who you are, you have no energy left to live in the conviction of what is already true. You cannot expend your energy convincing. So how do you begin to take action through daily discipline? JD, how do you take action through daily discipline?
Could you tell that I wanted to say something? I think that it's just like the book Atomic Habits, man. Like the ability for us to, when you feel overwhelmed, this is what has worked for me. When I am like, gosh, there was a time 2 or 3 years ago when I was going to every conference, I was reading every book, I was doing webinars like this on the weekends, I was doing Cardone classes. I was taking in a lot of information, and it was always this feeling of like, I'm not doing enough. Like I get that feeling a lot still to this day, that I am just not doing enough. What am I missing because I'm not getting the results that I want quickly enough, right? That's why I said my biggest problem is waiting for results. And so for me, I had all these things that I was trying to do, and people might look at my life right now and go, golly, how in the world is he doing every single one of those things? Or, you're an animal or whatever it is. Well, it started with one simple habit. And for me, that one simple habit to begin with, when I finally broke it all down, of deciding to take action through daily discipline, was to beat the sun up. Like literally the first thing that I don't know that I had this day when I like just decided and I broke down and I was like overwhelmed, but there was a time when I finally was just like, look, I got to get down to the most simple thing. And it was when I woke up in the morning. And I think maybe it was when I read the 5 a.m. Club. I think you're right. It had to be the 5 a.m. Club or no,
I know it was. I remember you telling me it was, you read the 5 a.m. Club and you were like, I don't know if I'm going to do 5 a.m. every day, but I know I can commit to this. I remember having the conversation with you.
Yeah. And so it's more the daily habit of determining the night before what time you're going to get up. Like today, I didn't get up at 5 a.m. I woke up at 6:30. Okay. So that was the time that I wanted to get up. And then I knew what I was going to do after that. But it starts with when you're waking up. So for me, it was that beat the sun up mentality. That's when I need to be starting my day. And that was the daily habit that I was going to try to master. So when you're trying to let's just clear the board. That's why I had this guy who used to help me. His name is Chet Logan. He used to help me when I was 22 years old, when I was first in the accounting industry. And we would be in the middle of a financial statement or a tax return or whatever. And I'd been working on it for, 18 hours and I couldn't figure it out. And I was just frustrated. I was just like, I don't know what to do. And he would always be like, well, Jonathan, let's just go back to the beginning. Let's just go back to the beginning. Let's start with a trial balance. Like we would go all the way back. And I'm like, I don't want to go back to the beginning. I don't want to do, I'm almost here. Like, I've got to be there. I put so much time into it. I'm like, the beginning. And I think when we're talking about this unique, when we're talking about this taking daily action, that we've got to get back to it being as simple as possible and something that we can do and something that we can stack. So we want it to be easy to begin with.
But I think,
it's not easy if you try to do it 7 days in a row.
Yeah.
Or 3 days in a row.
But I think that's where
easy at all.
But I think that's where, JD, I think that's where I get caught in my own head, is that it's like, okay, I've got this issue. I've got this problem. I've got this goal. I have this desire. I have this want. I have this need. We fill in all the gap. And then we go like, so you're telling me that I want financial freedom. And your suggestion to me is to beat the sun up every day. And that's going to magically grow money weeds from my front lawn because I got up before the sun and watered them with the special beans you said, right? Like, I know that's not, but I think so many times in my mind, I get to the place that I go, there's no way this simple task, this simple discipline is going to yield a massive result, because I got big issues and I got big goals. And if I'm going to solve them, it's too easy. But I love the way you're describing, when is the last time any of us picked a thing and did it nonstop every day, 7 days, 10 days, 4 days, 40 days, whatever it is. The reality is that many of us don't do that, but then we wonder why the big things are not happening. And the reality is, even though it feels cliche, it is very true. It's because the small things are not happening. And we trick ourselves to going, oh, that small thing doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, being an alcoholic, the first time I ever did the same thing every day for a long period of time, and the longest period of time in my life has been not drinking, has been choosing in January 12th of 2018. Well, I didn't really choose. I wanted to, but I needed to. But that's like, I haven't had a drink since. That's the longest streak that I've had, basically. And from that, I think for me, that was the simple thing. I'm not going to have a drink of alcohol. And I'm going to go to a meeting every week. And I'm going to read the big book. And I'm going to go to a therapist. And I'm going to go to marriage counseling. And I'm going to start stacking all these other things in my life. It wasn't beat the sun up. I'm just saying, but that's a pretty simple thing.
Yeah.
To take a drink of alcohol. Yeah. But that's going to think about the change that happened from that for me. Holy cow. And and for me, even to this day, that, and I would say the only thing I've stacked on top of that is something that I'm deeply, deeply passionate about, is my faith and doing my devotional. And that didn't start till 18 months after I decided not to have a drink. It started with not having a drink. And I think there's a part of me that kind of feels kind of bad about that, because I'm like, my faith should probably be more important, right? But Rocky, you've taught me to have more grace with myself in my life. So it is so simple to get this one action. And to speak to your point, yes, I am saying that you're going to be financially free because you decide to beat the sun up and you do it every single day, or whatever your thing is, as long as you keep stacking. Because once you prove to yourself that you can do those things for a long period of time, over a long period of time, that's how you become financially free. Because what happens eventually is you stop thinking about those finances. You just do. That doesn't mean that you can't make money. That doesn't mean any of that, but it just doesn't become as much of a focus. So it just kind of starts to happen.
Yeah, but I think you described it perfectly. You said, I made a decision to take one. You said, I'm going to take action through daily discipline. I'm not going to drink. And then you rattled off over the course of the next 24 months. Let's be clear. So we're all on the same page together here, friends. Then over 24 months, not over 24 hours, not 24 days, not 2 months in, not 9 months in, over the period of 24 months. Now we all know 24 months, bam, was going to go by like that. So it's a very short amount of time and also a very long amount of time. But in a 24-month period, you made a single decision to take action through daily discipline. And then you just rattled off 9 things that have occurred in a positive manner because you took that one action, right? And I am the same. I need to look and see. I have to look here in a second. It's August the 5th. So, we'll probably call it a close to almost a couple hundred days. Like, I've been dry for the last couple hundred days. I haven't had dry alcohol either. And I can tell you the things that have happened because of that are very similar. Like, you want to be financially free? Stop drinking alcohol. That's a good one. At least it was for me, because you know how much less money I spend going out to dinner? A lot. So there's a direct correlation between taking that daily action, but we see how those things begin to go together. But it's making a decision. Is there something I can do? I always joke with people. It's the same as going to a Mexican restaurant. I live in Texas. We love Mexican food here. And it's a daily, and I don't take it daily because I don't go to a Mexican restaurant daily, but action I take is like, I try really hard whenever I go not to eat the chips. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not eating iceberg lettuce and grilled chicken every time I go to Gloria's. Okay. That's not, I'm getting straight in on some enchiladas. I'm doing my thing. Like, let me be clear. However, it's an action I can take to remind myself, can I do the thing I said I was going to do, which is why would I eat 15 tortillas before I start? Right. So whatever those pieces are. So I think for you, one thing that we've talked about, we've said it in a roundabout way. I'm throwing it in the chat box. I'm going to remind you, simple is not the same as easy, and hard is not the same as bad. Okay. And I think that's really, really imperative when we start talking about taking daily discipline. We start talking about action. We start talking about the way we talk. We start talking about relationships. Simple is not the same as easy. It is simple. Get a pen, get a paper, put an X on a page. Do that every day for 30 days. That is simple. It can't get any simpler. And it is not easy. You think about hard. Hard is not the same as bad. One of my affirmations I write down every morning in my daily ledger is, I do hard things for the most good. I can tell you, what's happened since I started writing that down? I've had a lot of hard things happen. I got a lot of hard things to do. And I got to remind myself, do I still want to keep writing that down? How long am I going to keep writing down? I do hard things for the most good. How about I start to write down a lot of good things happen to me that aren't hard, but what would happen? My life, that probably would happen. I probably would have a lot of easy things in my life, potentially would not be hard, but I could almost guarantee you it would not correlate with me building a life that I believe in and me getting what I want.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, Rocky, is like, I love that it has gotten hard with you writing that down, because it's just like becoming a new Christian, like, or whenever my faith feels really, really strong, like I have more challenges. I have more things that test my faith when I think my faith is strong. And it makes my faith even stronger because of those things, because that's something that I deeply desire. And so it's like, it's like starts to attack you even more and more and more, but it's not like the most successful people. I think the ones that have the most grit, that have gone through the fire, that do get financially free, that do get what they want, is the fact that they don't quit, is the fact that they continue to go through those hard things. Even though it's hard, even though they're trudging in the mud, you can't lift up your feet. Like, there's no way I can keep going, but you actually still keep going. The people with the discipline are the ones who keep going, because they recognize that it's just today. It's just right now. That's the problem that I have. It is hard right now. Yes, it's hard right now. But look, tomorrow is a different day. It's a different experience. It's definitely not going to be the same next year.
Yep.
Holy cow. If you keep doing it, it won't be the same. It's impossible. It's impossible. But the hard things are what give us the grit. The hard things are what make you financially free. It's just the way life works.